This time we're stepping into the world of Marc Levy's If Only It Were True.
Okay.
And, you've sent us some excerpts from the novel itself, as well as a really thought-provoking essay analyzing its themes.
Right.
So get ready for a little bit of romance, a little bit of fantasy.
Touch of philosophy.
Yeah, a touch of philosophy.
All rolled into one.
All rolled into one.
It's a very unique blend for sure.
Yeah.
So the story follows Arthur.
Okay.
He's a lonely architect in San Francisco whose life takes a very unexpected turn when he encounters the spirit of Lauren,
Oh, wow.
a young doctor in a coma
Okay.
residing in his closet.
So just the premise itself,
Yeah.
I was hooked from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Levy took the classic ghost story
Right.
and infused it with this achingly beautiful love story.
It is.
But what really struck me was how this fantastical element acts as a lens to explore very real human experiences.
Exactly. Take Arthur's life before Lauren even enters the picture.
Okay.
It's all routine,
Yeah.
isolation, almost mirroring the state of limbo that Lauren finds herself in.
Right.
So Levy very cleverly draws this parallel between physical and emotional separation,
That's interesting.
setting the stage for a connection that defies conventional boundaries.
It's like they're both trapped
Yeah,
in their own ways,
totally.
longing for that connection that goes beyond the surface.
Absolutely.
And speaking of defying expectations,
Yeah.
the setting this in San Francisco adds
yeah.
another layer of intrigue.
San Francisco is almost like a character in and of itself.
Right.
The fog, the blend of urban bustle and hidden spaces, it all mirrors this kind of mystery and uncertainty that Arthur is grappling with.
Right.
It's a city known for its unique energy.
Yeah.
But Levy also highlights a sense of isolation
Okay.
that can exist even within such a vibrant place.
That reminds me of how so many people feel in today's hyper-connected world.
Oh, yeah.
We're constantly bombarded with information and images,
Right.
Yet loneliness and a sense of disconnect are pervasive.
Totally.
So it's almost as if Levy is offering this fantastical escape from this modern dilemma.
I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
By introducing a spectral being into Arthur's life, Levy allows him and us as readers to confront those feelings of isolation head on.
Okay.
It's a way of exploring how human connection can blossom
Yeah.
even in the most unexpected circumstances.
Yeah, and let's talk about that connection.
Okay.
The love story at the heart of it all.
All right.
How does Levy make us believe in a relationship between two people who can't even touch?
Right.
Well,
Well, that's where I think Levy's mastery of emotional nuance really shines through.
okay.
He strips away all the typical tropes of a whirlwind romance
Well, okay.
and physical intimacy. And in doing so, he forces us to focus on a deeper level of connection.
Right.
Yeah.
So their relationship unfolds through these quiet moments of understanding and shared experiences and gradual unveiling of their vulnerabilities. And in a way, it feels more genuine and relatable than a lot of the conventional love stories
For sure.
that are out there.
He challenges the idea that grand gestures are the only way to express love.
I see.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's one scene where Arthur describes a sunset to Lauren,
Okay. Yeah.
trying to paint a picture with words, and she can't physically see it.
Right.
And it's just a tender and intimate moment
Yeah.
that speaks volumes about their connection.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
That scene is just breathtaking.
it is.
It really highlights how their communication becomes a bridge
Yes.
between their different realities.
Totally.
And there's this one line from Lauren that hit me hard.
Oh, yeah.
She says, "I may not have a body, but I have a heart that beats for you."
Wow.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
And it forces us to ask the question, what truly defines life and existence? Is it the physical body, or is it the presence of consciousness? The ability to feel and connect?
It's a great question.
And that's where the novel's philosophical depth really comes into play.
Exactly.
Levy isn't just telling a love story.
Right.
He's prompting us to grapple with these existential questions.
And he does it in a way that's both thought-provoking, but also accessible.
Right.
He invites us to consider all these different perspectives on Lauren's state.
Okay.
Is she a soul?
Yeah.
Is she a ghost? Is she a manifestation of Arthur's longing?
Right. It's fascinating how he leaves it open to interpretation,
Whatever.
allowing each reader to kind of come to their own conclusion about what defines life, death, and those spaces in between.
And this ambiguity also taps into all sorts of different cultural beliefs about the afterlife.
Oh, that's true. I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah.
The cultural implications. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if Levy intentionally incorporated these different interpretations.
Right.
To make the story resonate on an even more universal level.
Yeah, because the themes of love and loss and the search for connection, I mean, those are universally relatable.
Absolutely.
Regardless of your background.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got this really unique blend of genres, a thought-provoking premise,
Yeah.
and a setting that's practically a character itself.
Right?
But what I find truly compelling
Yeah.
is how Levy weaves in these deeper philosophical questions without ever sacrificing the emotional core
Absolutely.
of the story.
He doesn't let go of that.
Yeah.
And that's what elevates, if only it were true beyond a simple romance or ghost story.
Right.
It becomes this exploration of what it means to be human,
Okay.
to connect with another soul, and to find hope,
Yeah.
even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles.
I like that a lot.
So it does.
It really does. And speaking of obstacles, one of the most compelling aspects of this novel
is the way it handles this theme of hope.
Okay.
So you've got this seemingly impossible situation.
Right.
A woman trapped in a coma, her spirit wandering the world unseen.
Yeah.
How does Levy make hope feel tangible
Right.
in such a scenario?
Well, it's subtle,
Okay.
but it's incredibly powerful.
Right.
For starters, Lauren's spirit being present at all suggests a possibility, however slim, that her consciousness hasn't fully faded.
Right.
That spark of what if is like a flicker of light in the darkness.
And then you've got Arthur,
Okay.
who embodies that hope. He refuses to accept the limitations
Right.
that doctors and even his own logic
Yeah.
try to impose.
Okay.
He actively seeks out solutions, researches alternative therapies, anything that might help bridge the gap
Okay.
between Lauren's spirit and her body.
Yeah, there's that scene where he finds an article about a doctor in India who claims to have brought coma patients back using these unconventional methods.
Right.
And it's almost like this desperate grasp at a miracle,
Yeah.
but it speaks volumes about
Absolutely.
Arthur's unwavering belief in the power of love to defy the odds.
It also challenges the reader
Okay.
to examine their own beliefs
Yeah,
about the boundaries of possibility.
that's a good point.
If you were in Arthur's shoes,
Okay.
would you cling to the pronouncements of medical science?
Right.
Or would you, like him,
Yeah.
dare to believe in something beyond the realm
Okay.
of what's currently deemed possible?
So Levy isn't just exploring hope
Right.
in the context of Lauren's recovery.
Yes.
He's inviting us to examine how we approach hope
Absolutely.
in our own lives.
For sure.
Do we allow ourselves to believe in miracles, or do we resign ourselves to the limitations of what we perceive as reality?
It's a good question.
And it's not just about
Yeah.
clinging to a specific outcome.
Right.
The novel also highlights the transformative power of hope on a personal level.
Okay.
Think about Arthur at the beginning.
Yeah.
Isolated, emotionally withdrawn,
Right.
living a life devoid of passion.
He's almost like a ghost himself,
Right.
existing but not truly living.
Yeah. And then Lauren enters his life, literally, and shakes everything up. Suddenly he's experiencing this whole range of emotions that he had shut himself off from.
Right.
Yeah.
He's forced to confront his own fears, his vulnerabilities,
Okay.
the walls he's built around his heart.
Right.
And in doing so,
Yeah.
he begins to rediscover a part of himself he thought was lost.
I see.
It's a beautiful illustration of how love, even in its most unconventional forms,
Right.
can awaken us to the beauty and possibility that surrounds us.
And this transformation isn't limited to Arthur, is it?
No, it's not.
Even though Lauren is in this in-between state,
Yeah,
she experiences growth and change.
she does.
Through her connection with him,
For sure.
she rediscovers her own strength,
Yes.
her passion for life, the importance of
Irresistible.
human connection.
Exactly.
It's like they each provide the missing piece
Yeah,
for the other.
I like that.
Arthur brings Lauren back to the world of the living, even if only in spirit,
Right.
while Lauren reminds Arthur of the beauty and fragility of life,
Okay.
urging him to embrace it fully.
And their journey is a reminder that personal growth doesn't have to follow a linear path.
Right.
It can be messy,
Yeah.
unexpected, and even occur in the midst of challenging circumstances.
Right, and this brings us back to San Francisco.
Yes.
A city that embodies that very idea
It does.
of transformation and constant reinvention.
You know, it's interesting how San Francisco almost acts as a parallel narrative
Okay.
to Arthur and Lauren's journey.
Right.
The city is known for its constant state of flux, its ability to adapt and evolve, just like Arthur and Lauren are forced to adapt
Yeah.
to their unique situation.
And Levy's descriptions of the city perfectly capture that dynamic energy.
Oh, do.
The fog rolling in and out,
Yeah.
symbolizing the uncertainty they face,
Wow.
the bustling streets juxtaposed with quiet, hidden spaces, reflecting the contrasts in their own lives.
He uses these contrasting elements
Okay.
to create a visual and emotional tapestry that mirrors the complexities of their relationship.
Right.
It's like the city itself is a metaphor
Okay.
for the ever-shifting nature
Yeah.
of love, loss, and hope.
And the way he plays with light and shadow,
Yeah.
the vibrancy of the city against the stillness of Lauren's hospital room
Wow.
adds another layer of depth.
Right.
It's as if he's highlighting this delicate balance between life and death, the seen and unseen.
There's one scene where Arthur and Lauren's spirits
Right.
are walking along the Golden Gate Bridge,
Right.
and the fog suddenly lifts, revealing this entire cityscape bathed in sunlight. And it's a breathtaking moment
Yeah.
that visually represents these glimpses of hope and possibility
Right.
that break through their darkness.
I love that scene.
It's a perfect example
Yeah.
of how Levy uses visual imagery to convey powerful emotions
Right.
and symbolic meaning.
And it's not just about the grand landmarks.
Right.
He also focuses on the smaller details.
Yes.
Like the scent of eucalyptus trees in Golden Gate Park,
Mm-hmm.
or the sound of foghorns echoing across the bay.
Those sensory details
Yeah.
ground the story in a way
Right.
that makes it feel incredibly real.
Okay.
Even with this fantastical element of Lauren's spirit,
Right.
you can practically smell the salt air
Yeah.
and feel that cool fog on your skin as you read.
It's like Levy's inviting us
Yeah.
to experience San Francisco alongside Arthur and Lauren,
He is.
to feel the city's pulse, its heartbeat.
Absolutely.
And in doing so, we become more deeply connected. Right.
to their story, their struggles, their triumphs.
It's a testament to the power of setting, not just as a backdrop,
Yeah.
but as an integral part of the narrative.
Oxy.
It's like San Francisco
Okay.
is whispering its own story of resilience, transformation,
Okay.
and this enduring spirit of
Yeah.
hope, mirroring the very themes that Arthur and Lauren are grappling with.
And it makes me wonder
Yeah.
if their story could have unfolded in any other city,
Right.
would it have had the same impact, the same resonance?
It's an interesting question,
Yeah.
perhaps,
definitely.
but there's something about San Francisco's unique blend
Mhm.
of history, mystery, and constant reinvention
Right.
that feels perfectly suited
Yeah.
to this particular narrative.
It's like the city itself is a character,
It is
constantly evolving, challenging boundaries,
pushing the limits,
offering glimpses of the extraordinary
Yeah.
within the ordinary.
for sure,
And that brings us to the heart.
of what makes If Only It Were True so captivating.
It's not just a love story
Okay.
or a ghost story.
Right.
It's a story about the power of human connection
Yeah.
to transcend limitations, to redefine what's possible,
Right.
and to remind us that even in the face of great loss,
Okay.
there's always a reason to hope.
It really is. And what strikes me is how, if only it were true,
Yeah.
it isn't a one-time read.
No.
It's a novel that invites you to revisit it, to uncover new layers of meaning each time.
You're absolutely right. Levy's writing has this wonderful depth to it.
Yeah.
He doesn't spoon feed the reader.
Right.
You know, he leaves space for us to ponder,
Right.
to draw our own conclusions. And I think that's what makes it so rewarding.
I find myself thinking back to certain scenes,
Yeah.
certain lines of dialogue,
Yeah.
and discovering new interpretations. It's
Wow.
like the story continues to evolve even after you finish reading.
That's the mark of a truly well-crafted narrative, isn't it?
Yeah.
It stays with you. It sparks conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It encourages you to view the world through a slightly different lens.
And speaking of different lenses, one thing that really struck me is how the novel manages to balance these weighty themes, love, loss,
Right.
the nature of reality,
Yeah.
with a lightness of touch.
For sure.
You know, it's not a depressing book,
No.
despite dealing with some pretty heavy subjects.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's this underlying current of humor,
Yeah.
of joy even,
Okay.
that prevents it from becoming too melancholic.
Right.
Think about Arthur's interactions with his best friend Paul.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Their banter adds this layer of levity
Okay.
that balances out the more emotional moments.
Their friendship is such a great example of how human connection in all its forms can be a source of strength and resilience.
It is.
It reminds us that even in the midst of challenging circumstances,
Yeah.
there's always room for laughter,
Absolutely.
for shared experiences,
For sure.
for the simple pleasures of life.
And I think that's ultimately what makes If Only It Were True such an uplifting read.
Yeah.
It's not just about the possibility of romantic love conquering all.
Right.
It's about the enduring power of the human spirit
Mm.
to find hope, connection, and even joy
Right.
in the most unexpected places.
Beautifully said so.
Yeah.
For our listener who sent in these wonderful sources, what would you say is the most important takeaway
Oh, that's a good question.
from our deep dive into If Only It Were True?
I think it's the invitation to embrace the unknown,
Okay.
to open ourselves up to the possibility that
Yeah.
there's more to life than what we can see or touch.
Right.
And to remember that even in the face of loss or uncertainty,
Okay.
there's always room for hope,
Yeah.
for connection,
Mm-hmm.
and for the extraordinary to emerge
Yeah.
from the ordinary.
I love that. It's
Yeah.
like Levy is saying, don't be afraid to question, to explore,
Right.
to believe in something.
It's beyond the confines of what you think you know.
And to cherish the connections we have
Right.
in all their forms.
Right.
Whether it's the love between partners,
Yeah.
the bond of friendship, or even just simple acts of kindness between strangers. You know, these connections are what make us human,
Yeah.
what give our lives meaning.
Well said. So to our listener out there,
Yeah.
we encourage you to dive into the world
Yes,
of If Only It Were True,
please do.
and let Marc Levy transport you to a place
Yeah.
where the lines between reality and fantasy blur,
Mm-hmm.
where love defies boundaries,
Right.
and where the power of the human spirit shines through.
It's a journey you won't soon forget.